Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors, the place where we not only talk about what's going on in the gun world, our beautiful country, how we're going to fix this bad boy together. Guys, what we are watching right now is nothing less than the culture shift across the board. I've said it multiple times. I'm going to continue to say it. You guys are driving the culture in a positive direction, and it's not just in the 2A space. It's the immigration stuff. It's everything. You are leading a movement away from the left, and all the points of which we focus in the culture battle, particularly in the 2A, is directly benefiting from your actions. I'm going to walk you through the entire thing. This video has got Gavin Newsom getting kicked right in the teeth when a very embarrassing loss from a court that just happened. I've got Comrades showing up from the left in the riots in LA, and I'm going to show you how everything that you're doing is showing up in data that is terrifying the Democrats. Everything is going to be linked in the description box below. I always bring the receipts. And of course, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn the notification bell on. The more you guys do that, the more you defeat the censorship algorithm that YouTube is trying to suppress, and you spread freedom, and you are enabling others to see and activate just like you have. Thank you guys for doing that. Let's jump into this. You've got to see this. All right, guys, before I get into Jake Tapper delivering a blow to Gavin Newsom, I want to show you what's happening on my X profile and why it's so important for you guys to go over there. At Braden LOA is my tag, okay, or my handle. They are now showing from the riots in LA how to put out tear gas canisters, and they are distributing all the materials to do so using words like comrades. Guys, this is bigger than what they're telling you it is. We're doing all sorts of research, me and Katie, into who is funding this and who's behind it. And a big hint, a lot of it has to do with the word comrades. Comrades are telling other comrades how to put out tear canisters and distributing organized fashion protest. I'm telling you, at Braden LOA, I can get it to you quickly, and no one else in our space is covering it. But let's get into this. Let me show you how CNN is forced to hand a big L to Gavin Newsom, who quite frankly deserves it. Check this out right here.
Judge has denied the state of California's request to stop Trump from using the California National Guard to keep the peace and keep order during these protests. CNN's Elena Treen is at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, where President Trump is speaking. And Elena, that's a big development, the judge denying California's request. Tell us about that, and tell us what the president has...
I don't care what she has to say. The point is, he took an L. Gavin Newsom did. Now, Gavin Newsom asked the courts to say, hey, take away the National Guard. Hey, take away everything that's helping the to put down the riots because LAPD's got it, even though they don't have it, right? That's the whole game. That's the politics of it. But that's not the important story. This is the important story. Remember how I said in the intro, all these pieces are linked and we're basically all fighting our individual battles against a big progressive machine? Look at this. It's changing. Breaking by a whopping margin of 20 plus points, Americans approve of President Trump sending the National Guard to the LA riots, 59 to 39%, including 56% of independents and 37% of Democrats. I'm going to tell you right now why that's so crucially important and why we're covering this so tightly. Because 56% of independents and 37% of Democrats means that more people will vote to put the people who just passed the suppressor removal from the NFA into position to do so. Step 1, get people in position. Step 2, hold their feet to the fire and make them grind. Step 3, win. That's how this is working. This is how we've been doing this for the past 2 years. This is why this is so crucial. Here's more right here. Do you approve of Trump's National Guard deployment? Yes, 59%. No, 39%. That is plus 20 from 1,000 likely voters on 610 from Insider Advantage. Guys, this is the underlying stuff that you need to be aware of, why I can tell you we're winning, because these types of things right here. This does not just happen in a vacuum. It's not like everyone moved rapidly to the right on immigration, but they kept loving gun control. They moved completely. The nation is in the middle of a move to the right, and the gun rights that we hold so dear and we fight for every day, multiple times on a daily basis, are going to come along for the ride. That's why this is so crucial, and I need you guys to spread this message because it's catching on, it's picking up. This is incredible. All right, let me show you what CNN is saying. Listen to this. This is why the Democrats are shifting their message so much, and you're hearing all these different pieces about how evil Trump is, and it's his fault, but it's not his fault. It's actually wasting money. That's why they're all over the place. Watch this. This is Harry Enton from CNN.
Start off on the fact that immigrant citizens, immigrant voters, foreign-born voters have gone tremendously to the right on this issue in 2024 and 2025 versus where they were in 2020. Closest to or trust more in immigration. You go back to 2020. Democrats, get this, held a 32-point lead on this issue. Immigrant voters were in the Democratic camp. Jump forward to 2024, 2025. Look at that shift, a 40-point shift to the right among immigrant voters. Republicans now lead on this issue by 8 points over Democrats, more so than any other group that I could find. The group of voters who became more hawkish on immigration were in fact immigrants themselves, immigrants who are registered to vote in this country.
Immigrants, I'm gonna rephrase this and tell you why this is so crucial. Guys, this is watershed stuff. Immigrants, not native born, immigrants who have been naturalized are against the Democrats on this in a 4-year time span of a 40-point swing. The left is so far out of base and out of favor, or off base and out of favor with their base and with the population, they're losing across the board. These types of things lead to massive things like suppressor removal, like short-barreled removal, like the repeal of the NFA. These things are going the direction you want to go if you're on team gun rights. This is a really big, important deal. Immigrants feel that way. He's going to keep going. He's got more. This is really important stuff, guys. Send this out.
That's on that issue. How about how they feel about kind of traditionally, historically, about Donald Trump?
Yeah, so, you see this shift and you go, what is going on underneath the hood? Well, take a look, Donald Trump. You remember when he first ran back in 2016, immigrant voters are one of his weakest spots. But look at this, Trump's vote share in presidential election among, again, immigrant citizens, those who are registered to vote. Look at this. 2016, he got 36% of the vote. You go to 2020, 39% of the vote. Look at this, in 2024, all the way up to 47% of the vote. Some polls I looked at had him barely losing that vote. Some polls I looked at had him barely winning that vote. Again, there is no block of voters that shifted more to the right from 2020 to 2024 than immigrant voters. And Donald Trump, at least in some surveys, actually won that vote. On average, it's about equal. So there may be all this stuff, right, about undocumented immigrants and Trump being harsh on them, but immigrant voters themselves have increasingly liked Donald Trump and have increasingly moved to the right on immigration into the Republican camp.
Well, then
That's why this is so important. I'm not going to do the rest. That part doesn't matter. You're talking about a 40-point swing among immigrant citizens who have been naturalized, did it the right way effectively, okay? Then you're looking at where Trump's vote share went. Trump's vote share went up 11 points. Guys, you are witnessing a cultural shift. The narratives that the left is putting out from everything, from immigration to gun control to is it a woman or not, is not catching. And the benefit is us on the gun rights side because we are going to push in their moment of weakness. Everything is linked. Make sure you send the stuff out, and I will talk to you on the next one. I'm Braden. See you later.